recently, salutes to Wesley. We had Wesley on. Wesley, a lot of people's favorites on the BRP 50.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it a stack, though. The person we have on the show tonight, my favorite on the BRP 50.
No. It's
my
a few
favorite.
of our favorites.
Everybody favorite. I mean, I guess that's why they call him the All-Father.
The All-Father.
Wrestling's richest prize.
Fuck that shit.
The current Catalyst Wrestling Champion. The current WOW Heavyweight Champion 4 times. As well as being the current BCW Heavyweight Champion. Number 15 on the BRP 50. I'm going to tell you, that's the most important number we got right now.
That's right.
Everybody in the chat, BRP squad, welcome to the cold open, Mr. Darius Carter.
Woo!
In living color.
Big fact.
Put him on a big screen.
He is on the big
Read that there, Mr. Darius Kinsey Carter. Okay, that Kinsey representing.
Mr. Darius Kinsey Carter. How you doing, man? Welcome to the pod, man. I appreciate you coming out for real.
Thank you for having me. Listen, when I watch all these lists, I view them all, and when I'm looking at this list, I'm seeing the countdown, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not on this list. And listen, I get it, personal preference, this and that. I'm like, all right, but I'm looking at this list, and I'm like, there's no way that maybe I missed it. And then I saw that I was 15. I said, oh, goodness gracious. I said, somebody's paying attention. I love when people are using their eyes, their ears, their mouth, and their nose, and they're paying attention to the game. Because you can smell it, you can smell it, you can feel it, you can touch it. That's the game. And I'm glad to be seen. So thank you for acknowledging the All-Father.
Well, speaking of, if I can just jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
I watch your Twitter feed. And every show, you give almost ESPN level, in my opinion, commentary on whatever it is whatever match is happening, whatever match is going on. And I personally feel like you give that 1985 feel. Like it feels like you have come from that foundation, from your ring entrance to the coat that you wear. I was enamored. These guys brought me into indies wrestling, and I was when the music hit, the way you walked in, it's a movement, and I just you can't keep your eyes off of you because you go into full details character, and I was excited. I love period drama, and I felt like I was watching a period drama. Your entrance alone, and watching your commentary on Twitter for all these matches, all these shows, it feels like you have. It's almost like you're classically trained. That's the word that I wanted. That's the analogy I want to use. It feels like you're classically trained. Do you feel like that's the type of training that you have? Because from the robe to everything, it just feels like you've gone into the bag of wrestling, like the true bag of wrestling, and you just go full throttle.
No, I appreciate that. That's what what I'm looking to present. That's the presentation. So again, it means a lot when people are paying attention to that, because that's what I'm giving. And sometimes the little things, people don't add them up to larger things. Sometimes people miss the little things. My mindset was always, I don't want you to be looking away for a moment. And you can't control human nature. People are going to look on a cell phone. They're going to look to their friend. But when from my entrance music, from the beginning to the end, when I win the match, I don't want anyone's focus to be shifted from what I'm doing. And I don't need to be running the ropes every 10 seconds and climbing the top and jumping off and doing these unique, flashy maneuvers to capture somebody's attention. And that's always the message that I am looking to convey, is that you can capture people's attention through other means. And the people that I studied and idolized, and the guys like Ric Flair and people like William Regal and Nick Bockwinkel and Billy Robinson and Randy Orton, guys that they all have that thing in common of making things really truly matter. Not hit a move. Okay, now let's get the guy up, set him up for the next thing. Feels like it's a multiple act play. For me, it's every single moment you're watching. You're just like, what's he gonna do next? I mean, it could be a stomp, it could be gouging an eye, it could be pulling someone by the ear. Little things where someone's like, oh, oh, did you see that? Oh, my God. That's what it's about for me. So it's great to have that scene and to be acknowledged for that. I know that word gets overused kind of now, but it's the word it is what it is. It's A in the alphabet, but it's great to be recognized because I do think about all these things. I'm not just going out there and just, coming up with something, and hoping for the best. Everything that I'm doing is meticulous. It's well crafted. It's well thought out, and my opponent's feeling it, so the crowd should feel it too.
So every time I've seen, what's going on, Brother Carter? Every time I've seen you walk into a building, suited, booted, on the way in, on the way out, clean. There's a coolness to you, right? However, that coolness feels like it doesn't need to come through any other way, anywhere other than how you present yourself. Is that on purpose? Are you trying to make sure that you don't be the cool dastardly guy?
Yeah. So the whole point of me, and this is why I don't sell merchandise, which a lot of people ask me, where can I get a Darius Carter shirt? Where can I get a Darius Carter scarf? To which I say, how could you afford a Darius Carter scarf? How could you afford what I wear? Am I supposed to sell? The average price is $25. Am I supposed to sell a $25 scarf, a $50 scarf, and now you're like me? That's not how that works. So the whole point of Darius Carter is exclusivity. So yes, I can wear suits and be dressed to the 9s, to the 10s, but it's not welcoming to you and it's not for you. I think that's the difference. I think a lot of people try to dress up now and their suits don't fit. And some of these people are on TV and holding championships on TV. And I'm just like, that's interesting how there's all this room and you could fit a leg in between your suit and
you can leave Steve Harvey alone. It's
okay. hey. I mean, I'm always that person. I don't know. I look when I a lot of people, they see a suit and they're just immediately, they're like, oh, but the detailed eye, you're looking at the shoes. You're looking, okay, what's the shirt underneath? Because you could throw on a suit off the rack and just throw it on. But then you're wearing sneakers and it's like, it's little things like that. I don't get anything off the rack and I get everything custom fitted because I want it to feel like it's mine. Even if it's a few adjustments to the shoulder, to the waist, to the hip, I want my suits, my attire to feel like it's particularly made for me. And that's just something that's how my mind works. So it's exclusivity. It's not doing it for the fans. It's not doing it because I want you to like me. It's doing it because the people I idolized, again, did that. Ric Flair did that. William Regal did that. Nick Bockwinkel in the 70s and 80s did that. You weren't seeing other guys do that. You weren't seeing people in their time really doing that. Even back then, a lot of the top stars weren't always wearing suits. And if they did, it would be here and there. Ric Flair all the time. William Regal, you couldn't catch that man outside of a suit. And again, Bockwinkel, couldn't catch him outside of a suit. And that to me is how I built myself. That's how I see the craft. I see the sport. I see the sport of professional wrestling. Of course, there's the entertainment aspect, and I'm, of course, there for that as well. It's sports entertainment. But the sport and the legitimacy comes with how you bring yourself to the game. It's not just what you do in the ring. It's not just, okay, I'm going to wrestle a technical match. I love wrestling. I love the sport. No, it's how you carry yourself outside of the ring. And I carry myself in a way that is intimidating to a lot of people. A lot of people are actually scared. They're afraid to approach me. because of the way that I carry myself. And that's good. That's good because I don't want everyone approaching me. And, and again, then there's fine folks like you who will see that and say, okay, this is a star. And maybe I don't approach him particularly. Maybe I don't, maybe I will contact him on the side or do something like that, but I'm watching him. And I get a lot of that. I get a lot of people that are just like, hey, I've been looking at you for a long time. I wouldn't know, people that don't like and retweet my stuff will come up to me and tell me they watch me. So it's like how you never know who's watching. I have people on TV that don't follow me, don't retweet, don't like, and they come over to me and they're like, I've been watching you for years. And I'm like, so that's the game. You always have to perform like you don't know who's watching you. And you always have to look like you don't know who's looking at you, because I could be at one show and all of a sudden someone pulls me aside afterwards and I have an opportunity. That's how quick things happen. So I always make sure that I'm on top of my game.
I love it.
Spitting facts for real. I wanted to say thank you, Mr. Carter, because recently I want to let you know why though. Recently,
there's a reason. Okay.
Recently, New Jobber City went down.
Yes,
and you were announced as the very special tag team partner in a match where you got to beat the ever-loving crap out of that liar, Sir Wilkins. I wanted to say thank you for doing what a lot of us, because that lion scum was on this. He lied to my face about even wrestling on that show. And when I saw that it was Darius Carter that was on the other side of that ring, stomping a mud hole in that liar, I thank you so much. Do you appreciate being able to come as a surprise on shows like that and then get out there and stomp a mud hole in a liar like Sir Wilkins?
I love so little things like that, right? Not often do I get to be a surprise, especially when I was already advertised for the show. So that was so there's a lot of layers to that, and I hope people understand the uniqueness of it. It's not like I was unannounced. It's not like you didn't know I was going to be there. You knew that Darius Carter was there. I had the Brass Ring Invitational that I've been promoting, the 15th Brass Ring Invitational, my 14-0 record, undefeated, and I've beaten some people that are on TV now in the Brass Ring Invitational, people like EC3, people like the Flip Gordons of the world. I've beaten them all. I use that invitational to not just as an opportunity for myself, but for my opponent, and to show that I can be promoted and advertised by myself. A lot of times my opponent is a big name opponent and they're not announced prematurely. That just goes to show you that you need to be at a show that Darius Carter is at. So I love the Invitational. Came back up with that back in around 2015, and it's been something that gets used periodically here and there. It's my version of an open challenge, and again, I think it's unique because you never know who it's going to be. It could be male, it could be female, it could be someone that was just off of TV, it could be somebody that's coming up on the rise, and next thing you know, you're wrestling, the All-Father. Right. So I promoted that very heavy, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I was like, people might actually know that it's going to be me as a surprise because I haven't been on the entire show and I've been advertised. So I was thinking to myself, people might actually suspect that it's going to be me. So when my music hit and that reaction, I heard that reaction and that orchestral reaction, I was like, okay, you can make people, you learn something new every day, and you realize that when you have something like that going on, Jobber Slam, which was a multi-hour event, and people were up on their feet 4 hours into the show, and that's not something, that's a testament, right? And this is one of the biggest Black hosted shows of the year. So for me to have come out there and to hear that reaction, it's almost as if everyone kind of forgot, and that's a good thing in a good way. They forgot about the Invitational and that I was there. That is a special gift unto itself, because I could have just been unadvertised, but I was advertised for a match, and people still bit into it every inch of the way, and that's engagement, and that's a moment for me, a checkpoint moment where you say to yourself, okay, you got to realize how far you've come, and you're always looking to the next thing. You're always looking to what lies ahead over the mountaintop. But I've always been somebody that kind of works in the moment as well. And I think that's why I have this longevity, and that's why I don't have this bitterness, because I'm always in the moment. I'm always on my next place, on my next promotion, and I'm not sweating when or what time I'm going to get picked up, because I'll be the best version of me when I do. And there's a whole lot of reasons why someone with the talent and the pedigree, the look, the feel, there's a lot of reasons why that person doesn't end up on TV. And a lot of it is stuff I can't control anyway. You know what I mean? Right. So the forum writers and it's not all of it's on the fan side. Some it's on the wrestler side, and jealousy and envy and malcontent, and because I did it myself. I did it self-made. I did it without relying on anybody. I did it without riding a coattail. I have people riding my coattails, and I'm, someone who made it myself. I have people that are on TV that have jumped on the coattail, that have jumped on the Darius Carter train. So it's okay, because my success resonates. I see the results of my success. And that to me makes me smile. That to me says, okay, it's only a matter of that. It's only a matter of time, And until then, you can't fall off. You can't get arrogant. You can't get complacent. You have to keep delivering. And everywhere I go, it's about delivering. That match, Simon Miller's, okay, he wrestles, but he's not a wrestler, right? And then you have, Wilkins, who's most certainly not a wrestler. So I was in there with, of 4 people, there's only 2 of us that are wrestlers. And even then, Encore's a few years in, and he's having a tremendous few years, but still, it's only a few years. So I had more years combined than all of them, probably 4 times over. So I kind of have to be that person to, direct, control, produce, maneuver, orchestrate the match. And another career achievement for me in the back of my mind that I'm not going to go out there and always talk about, because a lot of it is, just you should see it for yourself. But I that show, that event, and that reaction 4 hours into a show where I was already advertised, I said, all right, got to stop and smell the roses.
Something's working, yeah. Those moments. Indeed.
Was it that surprising when the prior Jobber-Tears event, you got the same reaction? You got that reaction. That was Steve Pena, right?
Yes. Yeah. Steve Pena, and then after Pena was Jorge Santi. Right.
Okay. Yeah. You got that same reaction. So was it that surprising when you came through that curtain, or when you heard them, when they heard your music and you heard that response? Was it that surprising to you?
So to clarify, I'm not saying that the reaction itself was surprising, right? And I say that as humbly as possible, because I know that I'm going out there to earn a reaction. No matter when you hear Darius Carter, okay, sure, there's a reaction that's expected, but I'm still going out there to further earn and magnify that reaction. So to me, it's circumstantial. I look at everything from an overarching connected view. I don't just look at it as, okay, reaction. I look at it as, again, I was advertised, and we had gotten to the main event, and there was no Darius Carter. So people were there to see a Darius Carter match, and they might not have known what happened. They might have thought the card was subject to change. They might have thought that I wasn't there, because not everyone saw me come in.
Right.
So there was a lot of there was definitely like maybe an element of what are people going to how are people going to receive this, right? And I knew it was going to be great, but am I really a surprise? And that's what I was thinking of more with the reaction. The reaction was that of, we didn't even know he was here, or we didn't expect this. And that's the part of it that was so enthralling to me, because there was people in the crowd that some people did see me come in, and they were waiting for that match, and they still gave that reaction as if they had no idea I was there. There's something different about that. There's something about being a surprise, but still advertised. That's not something that you see a lot of, and that's what I'm trying to drive home. There is that reaction was like as if they had no idea I was in the building or was going to be part of the show.
Right. I think I told Fam. I don't think it's coming on. I don't think he's coming. I don't think anybody was going to challenge you. And then when you came out, I was happy.
Right.
Look at this.
And that's what a difference a year makes.
Look. He was
happy.
That's that mentality. So that's a gift. You know, and you have to realize that people are paying attention and watching your work. When I mean the roof, you know, the roof was on fire and I was gonna let it burn, you know. So
you can sing the real version here. You can sing the real version.
No, but it was it didn't need any water and I was going to let that mother burn. All right. So let's put it that way. So it was very not cathartic, right? Because again, I expected a great reaction, but it was just very, okay, you know, there's so many levels of thought and you can't ever get lost in that, you know? And I always try to think like the fan. I always try to think like the consumer of the product, not just somebody that's giving you the product, not just the person that's selling the Swiffer, but the person that would be interested in it. You know, you have to know who you're appealing to. And I always felt like I catered to really, in terms of engagement, I cater to all demographics. Obviously, me as a person, I'm not here for everybody. But for me, I find that I'm relatable to kids. I'm relatable to a teenager. I'm relatable to adults. Because to kids, I'm it's almost like the cartoon characters where you don't see their head. You know, you just see their body because they're so unattainable. You know, that's what I look to when I'm targeting the kids. It's like I can't even, kids can't even fathom that someone like me exists. A teenager is just, you know, teenagers, oh, this guy is, you know, they're about to throw garbage too, like the kids. And then adults are like, well, I have a boss like this, and I can't stand my boss. You know, my boss's boss is like this. We see him once a month, and I don't want to be around him. So it's about being relatable to all people, and that's a great thing, man. When I could have teenagers acting like kids,
I love it.
You know, kids, you know, reaching over the guardrail and trying to, you know, that's old school, right? That's what real tradition is being able to engage the fan across the board, not just, I'm targeting 18 to 39 demographic. You know, I know I'm targeting the buying demographic. The kids are the ones that are getting all that are producing for the business because the parents are buying for the kids. So if you think that money is just coming from people that are teenagers and above, you're missing the entire point of what we do. And that's what my role is to cater to each and every demographic. I have people, you have someone in India watching. I can have someone in anywhere in the world, Europe watching, Japan watching, and being like, I can relate to that person, you know? So
I love it.
It's that balance of being multifaceted, but also being exclusive. And that's the point that I keep wanting to alliterate is there's a way to be open-ended, but also so specific that you keep people guessing. You get what I'm saying? And you keep people guessing. I keep people guessing to no one's business. I have promoters guessing. That's part of the reason why some of them don't even know what to do. They're probably afraid to reach out to me because they're guessing. They don't know what's going on. Right. And I have people spinning in wheels. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, take it as it is and put it on a pedestal and put it on a stage. And that's always what I've wanted to be is you take somebody you want to find, you know, some people you feel like you have to edit, you have to For me, I always wanted to be somebody that you could, all right, this guy, put him out there. Yeah. And that's what I pride myself on. And that's why I don't sweat not being signed or what have you, because I only get better each outing. And I'm going to be the best version of myself. And there's going to be so much of I told you so, not so much from me, but from other people that are like, and I can't wait for that because there's like a movement of I told you so about Darius Carter. And you know, that place that picks me up is going to be like amazed. It's going to be amazing because I don't think they're going to see it coming. So it's going to be fun.
they're not going to have anybody that's got the views on World Star like Mr. Darius Carter does. How does that feel? Like randomly to have, because I mean that's it's not even like that match just happened. You know, that was a clip from a minute ago, and
right.
You know, but that you like for a week. You were the talk. Did you get any more teen fans off that?
Definitely, I've definitely gotten messages, and I don't answer them, but I get them from people. I see them. You know, you got the primary, the general. You know how that is. Those messages,
right?
And a ton of them. And again, I get some messages that are all in Chinese or in Japanese. You got to translate. So that's how I know people are watching. And it's like, you know, and I mentioned India because there's a lot of that too. They love the intergender wrestling, but still, I get messages all the time. Yes, sir. I get messages all the time, and I'm checking them out because you should again know who's watching you, and the ones that are speaking, because there's a lot that are watching you that aren't speaking. So the ones that are speaking, you do want to pick that up and just kind of, all right, let me throw that in the notebook. Let me throw that in the Rolodex there of, okay, you're paying attention, and. That's what this is all about, you know. That's what this whole game is about, you know. It's like being for everyone, but also being for the fine-tuned fan. So now it's a funnel, right? So everyone can come into the funnel, and you can stay at that top level if you want, but you can really get down to the core of Carter. You can stay up there, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get deeper, you can. And I don't think there's a lot of wrestlers. There are a lot of wrestlers that are offering that level of depth. And I mean anywhere. I'm not just talking indies. It's, you know, when you're in a big company, you have the machine behind you to generate that interest for you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a wrestler generating their own interest, their own following. And that's why I said right into the Battle Club camera, and I was just feeling it. And I just said, get on the wagon because it's filling up.
It's filling up.
Everyone wants to feel like they were a part of the popular act. And my whole thing is I was never the popular act. I made myself the top act, which just so happens to now become popular because there's nobody on the scene like me. And the more people are watching, the more wrestling you consume, the more you realize that there's not another Darius Carter. And that's the gift of this wrestling now, is there's so much wrestling going on. And you still don't see me anywhere. You still aren't seeing Darius Carter. You're not seeing him on TV. You're not seeing him in WWE. You're not seeing him in AEW. You're not seeing him in Impact. You're not seeing him in MLW. You're not seeing him in NWA. You're not seeing him anywhere. You know where you're seeing Darius Carter? On the indies. You know where you're seeing Darius Carter? At that next Warriors of Wrestling show, at that next Battle Club show, at that next Pro Wrestling Magic show, at that BCW show. I'm my own ticket seller. I'm my own draw. I'm my own point of interest. That's it. And then once I get somewhere, now you're looking, well, I want to see Darius Carter in Impact because I've seen him on the independents. So what? Now he's interacting with these new people. That's the gift of it. I mean, there's so much life to it. And that's like, I've been in the game a long time. And it's nice to have that hump to go over because there's so many people that, for all the people I've interacted with, there's a lot of people that I haven't. And there's a lot of money to be made with me interacting with these people. So all it takes is for somebody to look at their money and say, wow, I'd like to make more. And look around their locker room and say, wow, I don't have somebody that's doing what he's doing. Because a lot of people are content. There's a lot of complacency in wrestling. Even though there's a ton of it all over the place, there's still a lot of complacency. Because you still have the hierarchy of there's the WWE, then there's AEW. Ring of Honor is really the same. So with AEW. So there's WWE, there's AEW, there's Impact, and then there's everyone else, right? So we still have that hierarchy despite all of the wrestling promotions that are going on. So what makes them different is that's the stars that you bring on. That's the people that you promote. So the one that picks me up are going to see all that money that they put into me return tenfold. And that's the way of the game.
Super talk.
You talked about being in the ring with a bunch of like inexperienced folks and your experience kind of being more than everybody there. the beginning of when you started doing this thing that you do you notice the more varied iterations of Black pro wrestlers? Like, and the different types of Black wrestlers that are around now, does that allow you kind of to slide deeper and deeper into who Darius Carter is?
I would say so, but I was going to do that anyway. I don't think that that's affecting my growth. I don't think that's affecting my evolution, because I'm always in my own lane, right? That's the thing, is outside influences that, you're picking up as you go along. There's always an addition. There's always a wrinkle that's being added. But at the same token, I was going to go through this evolution with or without Black wrestlers around me going through that movement. Now, it's great to see that there's a level of depth that is being seen, because there's been a level of depth to Black wrestlers for a long time. We just didn't have that promotion. We just didn't have that promote that not promotion, but we didn't have the advertising. We didn't have the backing, right? So Tony Atlas was not the same wrestler, as Rocky. He was not. Even if they were a tag team, they were different. Same thing with Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons was different from Coco Beware, who was different from Junkyard Dog. You know what I mean? It's just, we only saw one pushed at a time. We only saw one promoted at a time. It was almost like you can't have multiple versions of a Black wrestler promoted at one time. And it's, it wasn't spoken, but it was felt. Yeah. And that's why Booker T felt so fresh when you saw him. And then in 2000, and he gets it from Jeff Jarrett. It's like, because it's fresh, because we haven't seen a Black wrestler on top, in a while. And now we're just starting to get there now. We're just starting to get to the point where now we have Black WWE champions. You have more Black WWE champions in the past 5 years than we had in the previous 40. So it's
That's right.
So come on now. And it's not that we're jumping on a movement. It's because, guess what? The best wrestler you had for a while was Bobby Lashley. And then the best you had for a minute was Big E. I mean, these people, they earned it, not off of color, but out of building a reputation. And we have to work harder to get to the same level. And we know that's what it is. So that's why I always knew that it was going to take longer for me to get somewhere, because I am immensely intimidating to the average white male, especially to a promoter. I am Black. I am intelligent. I am well put together. I am sharp. I am aware of what I need to do. I'm very proficient. That is horrifying for someone who does not know you. That is horrifying and harrowing for someone to take on. It's a project, and they're like, we'd rather take this guy who I know, who's my friend, and let's put a little bit of Carter in him, and let's see how that goes. I see it all the time. And it's like, okay, and he may be a champion, but if you had the real thing, you wouldn't have to do all that stuff for him. He'd be doing it for you. Right. So there's a whole lot of, and that's what I love to see, because I have a lot of conversations with young Black wrestlers. Someone I bring up is Jay Bougie, because Jay Bougie is always reaching out to me. He's always messaging me, and I'm not putting him on the spot, because he'll go out there and say it himself. He is a student of the game, and he's another one that doesn't get just due, and he gets, he's outspoken, he's loud, he's this and that. And I'm like, listen, people thought that about me when I was coming up, and people may still think that now, but people like that, we have to push back. Right. Because you can't just sit here and be doormatted and wait for people to stop stepping on you. Oh, look, the coast is clear. There's no coast is clear. Right. It doesn't come. And if it is, it's momentary. So you can't wait for your moment. I'm not waiting for my moment. I'm going out there and making it every show. Now, when I get picked up is when I get picked up, but I'm not waiting. I'm not looking at my clock and saying my watch and saying, wow, today's the 10th, waiting for someone to call me. No, because there's a lot of reasons why they don't place that call. There's a lot of reasons why they aren't sure or why they're uncertain. It could be someone in their locker room that's saying something because they're envious. It could be one of their fan bases, or it could just be the promoter not being able to look past their own locker room. Right. So there's a lot of reasons, and I don't particularly hold that against certain people. You have to do what you have to do. And I have people coming up to me and talking to me, and some again other young black talent that'll come up to me and ask, and I love it. I had a conversation with Culture Inc. at Battle Club. I love to see it. I love to see it. I love to see guys like that and Lucky Ali coming up and from the south to the north making those moves. There's not just a lot of us, but there's a lot, and it's not just that we're talented, it's that we're different. I mean, there's so much variety in black wrestling. There's so much variety, and you're just seeing that door open now because it's becoming acceptable. We've been there for a long time. It's just now it's okay, and that's why more people will notice. Hey, look, there's Darius Carter. You know, there's a lot of reasons why people are catching on to me now, and one of them is because of that increased black movement. And I keep saying all the time, I'm at the top of the culture. I mean, I don't get the promotion or the respect across the board from certain people, but I'm right there. I'm right there. I'm there challenging Trish Adora and in many ways besting Trish Adora. I just don't have the title, but I'm still the one. You know what I mean? I've been trending since March 30th, WrestleMania week, with Game Changer Wrestling, and I have not wrestled for Game Changer Wrestling since. So there are reasons. There are things going on. I'm trend to a phenomenon.
Damn.
Now it's a pile driver phenomenon is what I'm calling it. I'm calling it it goes from a trend to a phenomenon. That's why I say there's an evolution, right? You can trend for a bit. At some point, you're trending so much, you're more than a trend. And that's what I'm calling it. Hashtag pile driver phenomenon. I know a lot of people can't say phenomenon, so that might be hard for them. But that's
pile
what
driver
it
phenomenon.
Is. Okay? There it is. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. And then you got certain places like TikTok, you know, it's getting deleted. It gets reposted. Come on. Look at that. One move.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That match. When you it was a 7-way scramble with some of the top names in the culture. Faye Jackson, Keita Murray, Teriyaki. We see these people. And I not only won the match, but I created the most memorable moment of that match. And one of, if not the most memorable moments of the entire show. Because the show was fantastic. But when we talk about what's trending from that show,
it's the pile driver.
World Star.
I thought the match that you and Faye had at Fight was way more violent. Y'all on top of the bar. What's the feel like? What's the feeling about like men and women getting into, you know what I'm saying, back and forth, and what, because it's not something you see a lot on television, but you see it a lot at these shows, these independent shows.
Right.
And you're not afraid to do it.
What was the question? They were going a little bit in and out.
Oh, did you?
Oh, no, my question was, what are your thoughts about, you see a lot more men and women going back and forth on the indies. How do you feel about the mixed gender matches? Do you think they have a place on television, or is that something that should stick kind of where they are on the indies?
Absolutely has a place on television. Absolutely has a place on television. You want to know why it has a place on television? Because it makes money. Anything that makes money in professional wrestling has a place. Now, it may not last forever. It may be on certain cards. But, I mean, WWE had the mixed match challenge. I mean, they didn't have them always touching each other, but you knew, they know that there's money in it. It's just you have a PG audience, so you have to be careful. I understand that, right?
Yeah.
But if they didn't understand that there was revenue to be made, there wouldn't have been a mixed match challenge at all. Period. So it depends on the promotion, because, again, are you catering to You have sponsors, you have PG. You can integrate it in certain ways. What I don't particularly like are women attacking men, but men not being able to attack them back, because it sends in a message of inequality in wrestling, and we already know what wrestling is. So for a woman to be beating up on a man, and then the man, there's not a dude that's able to get her back. I mean, that's why Randy Orton, it's like when you see Orton show up, you're like, great, because you know the girl's going to get an RKO or something. And, but other people, it's like, all right, well, you're beating up this dude, but when does she get her comeuppance, right? That's why the Nia Jax moment in the Rumble a few years back was so big, because Nia Jax came out there, ravaged dudes. Okay, great. And then next thing you know, bam, Dolph Ziggler super kick. Bam, 619. Bam, RKO. I mean, she's bigger than a lot of guys. She can beat up. Yeah. Why is she weaker because she's a woman? Right. She's not. And that's the message. If you can convey that message on a grander scale, you're set. And that's why I wrestle women the way that I wrestle them. It's never just, guy-girl match. You both trade off moves and stand up and high-five and handshake. It's brutal, because that's what it would be. If you saw me in the ring with a girl, you see me in the ring with Saraya Knight, who was Paige's mother, and that was one of my favorites. I was slapping her down, and she's tough. She's tougher than a lot of guys that I've wrestled, and that's real talk. But I was slapping her down, and that's because that's how it would go. That's how it would go. That's it's reality in a controlled environment. When you see Darius Carter go up against, Janai Kai. Hey, Janai, you're tough, but guess what? You get one too. Boom, slap across the face. She's down. Because you can have all the kicks and all the Muay Thai and all the training in the world, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, I am a wrestler. I am a grappler. I am an amateur. I didn't get to do all the amateur wrestling that I wish I did. But I'm a based wrestler. And when I swoop you up, I don't care if you're a man, woman, anything on the spectrum. You get dropped the same. Because in wrestling, it's about competition. The best of the best come to wrestle the best.
The best.
Man,
the
woman,
best.
And that's what that. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Thank you. Talk about
the best.
Talk about the Super 8. Talk about the Super 8.
The best.
By the way, my first round opponent was Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton. Not Ricky Morton's son.
He ain't dead, but
Ricky
pray for him anyway.
Morton.
Slap him down.
Rock and Roll Express. What are we talking about? This is what we mean. And again, with intergender wrestling, that's why I'm kind of amazed that like a place like AEW hasn't really done it much, because they're not really catering much to sponsors based with all the expletives that they use on TV. So it's clear that you're not really catering to that. So I'm just amazed that we haven't had more of that, because that seems like the promotion where you'd be able to do it.
Right.
But again, I'm not in the locker room, but there's a lot of places that can take that shot. You see Impact doing it. Impact, listen, I have Impact on Roku, and I have the Impact channel. So 223. So I watch it, and there's intergender going on there. There's mixed wrestling going on there, and nobody's batting an eyelash. Nobody's surprised to see Jordan Grace muscle bustering, Ace Austin.
I see Jordan Grace's shoulders.
Yeah, right. I mean, at some point, Jordan's wrestling all these girls, but when you're built like that,
right,
you're gonna wrestle some guys too.
Yeah.
And you can take a hit, and we get it, and we can believe it. China was out there doing it, but China helped set the trend. But nobody has been able to follow in that footsteps, in her footsteps, because there hasn't been another China, but also because we're not building people to that position.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a match out there. And listen, I could be that match. Who knows? I could be the first, intergender match on mainstream television. Who knows? Because I've done it for so many years. Yeah. I've picked up so many views and so many fans and so much of the bandwagon hopping. I've gotten so many people jumping in because they saw me wrestle somebody a certain way, and they said, "Wow, you hit her like a woman. Like you hit her like she's a woman, not like your two spotty competitor athletes that are trying to outmaneuver each other.
Mhm.
You caught her you hit her with a euro and she dropped, and you kicked dirt on her. I mean, we're watching this for a reason. We all know why we're watching this. We want to see that brutality. We want to see that viciousness because that's what we're supposed to be. If you don't want to win that bad, then what? Then I don't want to watch you win.
That's right.
Yeah, I paid good money to see Darius Carter sock Rhea Ripley, but
hey, let's go.
Right.
I mean, and listen, I got love for Rhea's fantastic, and it's not her choice. But I bet you, if you asked her, she would be like, "I'm good to wrestle, guys."
That's right.
It looked like they dangling their feet over that goddamn cliff every once in a while. She'll step in front of somebody.
Right, and then she gets her comeuppance from a woman. It's like, okay, fine, but you waiting for Orton to come back because again, you know that there can be some sort of discipline in wrestling. There has to be discipline.
Yeah,
there's cause and effect, action, reaction, and if the crowd is seeing a whole bunch of action with no reaction, they start to wonder. So you're kind of tickling some interesting territory when you have someone beating up guys, but then she's not getting a comeuppance from a guy. It's like, that's interesting territory. And again, do as you will. But for me, it's time for mixed gender wrestling to at least get an opportunity on that main stage. Again, Impact gets their credit, but Impact is not seen like that, unfortunately. Right. So it's like you need that on a larger stage, on a AEW, a Ring of Honor. I mean, those places are places where I would expect it to happen first, because again, sponsorships are totally different than WWE. But who knows?
We'll see. Damn. What's next, Mr. Carter? I know you got a couple of shows lined up. Can you talk to the people? Where can you be seen in the very near future?
So I actually have a show tomorrow. That's Warriors of Wrestling. That's St. Finbar's Church in Brooklyn. I'll be wrestling against TJ Marconi. He just won the title from me. Things are temporary. He did that 3 weeks ago. And I'm going to literally end his day. I'm going to end his reign in 21 days. It's going to be amazing. The only thing better than winning a championship is winning it back from someone who took it from you. And what's funny is the last 4+ years of Warriors, nobody has held a championship of any kind longer than I have. I have over a year's worth of days as champion split up. So I've been the guy. I've been their one. When you think of Warriors of Wrestling, which has been running for 16 years, we're talking 217,000 subscribers on YouTube. Top 15 of any wrestling promotion anywhere. Okay? And here I am, their most decorated champion. A black man.
A black man.
A black man.
A black man.
Please believe it. I'm the one that's made more history than anyone in that company. 4-time heavyweight champion. 2-time No Limits champion. Won King of New York tournament. King of New York tournament 2021. Ultimate Survival winner, which is their version of the Royal Rumble, 2015. I have won every single singles accolade there is to win in that promotion. I'm their guy. I'm the one that they put the buck on. I'm the one that's always in the front and in the center of the promotion and of the poster. You can have the names come in, like that'll do signings or what have you, because Warriors always has names coming in. Let's say like Victoria, let's say like Shane Douglas. Tomorrow they're going to have Zaya Brookside, who I'm a fan of because I loved NXT UK, which is what most of NXT is now. So, which people don't recognize. But, she's going to be there and she's going to get to witness me. And maybe she'll tell her dad, Robbie, and maybe Robbie will be watching. Who knows? But the point of this is I will be reclaiming my championship. I'm quick with it. I will be regaining my championship. I want to say retaining because I feel like I never really lost it. But I will be getting that back in Brooklyn. And then Saturday, I'll actually be at the 85th annual Middlesex County Fair. They've been running. 86. We're talking about 85 years.
85 years. Shit.
Right off Cranberry Road, 655 Cranberry Road. And I haven't done that in many, many years. It's probably, I want to guess like 2015, maybe.
Who's the victim?
Yeah, I want to say 15. Let's say 2015. So I haven't. They have not seen this version of Darius Carter. So I'll be part of UWA Elites running there because they're the promotion that does those fair shows. They do those every year. So that's Friday in Brooklyn. That's Saturday, East Brunswick, New Jersey. And then have some other things coming up before the month ends, which you will see more of. August 26th, I'll actually be with Warriors again, but we're going to be at Breezy Point in New York. Breezy Point, a lot of children, a lot of kids. And last time I was there, the kids were throwing pretzels and, the kids were all booing other people, but they were throwing food and drinks into the ring. They actually threw a Gatorade bottle. Threw a Gatorade bottle before the match, before we even locked up. And commentator, Shane Fair had to go on there and say, all right, we can't throw bottles in the ring. But that's what I love. I feed on that. People aren't doing that. I'm not talking about toilet paper or streamers. I'm talking food. I'm talking.
He's going to eat that.
Right.
All right. Instead of eating that pretzel that you just bought. I mean, are we thinking about this? Instead of I drank that, I'm gonna throw it in the ring. I'm so frustrated. I don't even want to eat this anymore.
That's power. That's power.
Talk about it. It's not, let me boo, and that's the next level. I want you to throw your chair in the ring. You can't sit anymore. Now you're standing. Now you're standing. And that's what I say right to him. That's what I say right to him. Now that you threw your chair, how you gonna sit? Now you're standing. Standing room only. Back up. Come on. Come on. That's the game. Yeah, that's gonna be going on for August. September is gonna be wild because I think a lot of promotions were kind of taking a bit of a break during July and August. They take that summer hiatus and all those other things. So September is off to the races. I start September against George South. That's my first match in September. That's September 8th. So that's for We Are Wrestling. So
that's what's up.
I've been looking for George a long time. It's been a long time coming, and change is gonna come. And that man, you want to talk about boots to a man?
Yes.
You want to talk about plasma oozing out of the cerebellum?
Yes. I'm ready.
George,
hey, y'all stupid people. Students.
I can't wait. He hasn't seen anything like me in 61 years. Of his 60 years of living, he's about to be a 61st. And that man was in the ring with my prime inspiration, Ric Flair.
Wow.
So I have to do it.
You gotta do it.
I have to do it. I have, and you know what it is. I have to do it. And all of it, capital I, capital T. I will do it.
I love it. No, All-Father. All-Father. I love it. No, I love it.
All-Father.
On that note, All-Father, let the people know where they can find you. We have to get to the rest of the show, but we appreciate you coming through
all day.
There's big more after me.
No.
Cut it off. Hit the switch.
How we're going to be able to follow this, I don't know.
Tell them, hey, you can go home. No, I'm kidding. You got to stay for the rest of it. You got to stay for the rest of it. Everybody watching, stay tuned. Stay on it. I know that the shining star, that star that Mario has to get to be invincible. I know that is leaving. I know that the money is riding off. Don't leave. Don't leave, because there's so much more of Black Rasslin to listen to.
That's right.
So don't leave. Right. You see this talented panel? By the way, Cal, I want to thank you for that article personally, because thank you. It's bookmarked, it's favorited, and I make sure to post it, at least repost it. Probably gonna repost it again in the next few days.
I appreciate you. Thank you, and all of you for your involvement. And Mimi, always thank you for the support. All of you.
Always.
I'll still keep you out of my personal space. You get that respect there. Okay. Now, absolutely. Where do you find the All-Father, the money train that's about to That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the same at Mr. Darius Carter, Mr. Darius Carter. It's spelled right beneath me, so don't act like you don't know how to do it. Don't do 2 R's. Come on. Mr. Darius Carter.
That's right.
Easy. There it is. Repost it for them because they're struggling. There you go. Find me. Mr. Darius Quince Carter.
Yes,
What is Quince? It's Spanish for 15 because I'm the one. I'm the one.
That's right.
Come on, man.
Salute.
Come on now.
Thank you.
That's right.
Top 50 black professional wrestlers in the world.
In the world.
Wait till PWI puts that out. In the world. have them frustrated. By the way, I don't even submit for PWI. So, because I just want to see where I end up. So I don't even submit.
Right.
So ever since I made the PWI back in 2020, I was like, I'm all right. I just want to see where they place me. I don't want to submit. So any of the words they use, any of the accolades they bring up, that's them bringing it up.
Interesting.
So let's see. There's nothing wrong with submitting. All I'm saying is I like to see where the Lord places me. Where is the All-Father placed? He's on top of the world. So that being said, again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Mr. Darius Carter, the Money Train.
Choo choo.
And it's making a lot of noise. It's coming through your town. It's entering your city, and it's making a lot of noise. It's keeping you up at night. You can't sleep. You can't sleep. I got to go to work in the morning, but that train.
Oh God.
Yeah, we all.
I'm bad.
We all got work in the border.
The longer I stay on here, it's gonna get worse. Yo.
We got to get you out of here. We got to get you out of here. Darius Carter, salute.
It's the greatest.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. Thank you.
Thank you, Darius. Oh my God, he's the best.
No, that was awesome.
He was amazing.
Salutes to Darius Carter, man. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun, and you learn a lot.